Do you have 1 hour? I've taken a full solo game of Cuba Libre and cut out all the thinking time, rules lookup time, flowchart checking time, and boiled it down to the stuff that really matters, the gameplay. And as an added bonus, I've invited Cax to do some color commentary with me. Join us today on Legendary Tactics. And so we are going to launch a solo game of Cuba Libre.
Yes, and you've really done a marvel in editing this and really just putting it down to brass tacks, eh, Nato?
Well, my goal was to take out all the thinking time, all the time that's normally spent moving pieces around, and just make it visually and time-wise interesting. So first card up is Coup, which is a big-time government
event. Now, you're not playing government this round, though, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm the July 26th. So,
okay, so you'll be July 26th.
Yeah, so the government is going to take the Ops Plus Special. Now, a lot of the bot decision-making and so forth, that was all dictated by the flowcharts.
The flowchart just runs it, right? Right.
This module didn't have any dice, so I couldn't actually demonstrate the rolls, so you just have to trust me.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. Okay. What simulator did you use? Was it Tabletop?
This is Tabletop Simulator, yeah.
Okay.
And so the government gets a base down in Las Villas.
Oh, Las Villas has started already. Okay.
Yeah. So that's an interesting spot to place, and they put some troops and police in the city, and they do a transport action
over to Sierra Maestra,
which is my happy hunting ground.
Yes, for the July 26th. Yeah, that's eking into your territory, eh?
Yeah.
Okay,
and
the
Syndicate takes the event. And
which you'll have to refresh me on this one for the Syndicate event.
So the Syndicate will take the shaded, so activate
the lower half, eh? Okay.
Yes. So I believe, I think they take the unshaded, I believe. But
anyway, the top half? Okay.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry.
No,
yeah,
no, it was the lower half. Yeah, they were activating.
Yeah. And so they
activate and assault them.
Yes. So that's what they.
Oh, they are going to get. They're getting a little craw on the DR's nose already out of joint, eh?
Yeah.
I wonder if the DR will retaliate on that one. They get the first option next card here.
Yes, they do. So and there may be some rules mistakes here, but for those of you who are noticing them, just put them in the comments and let me know. Yeah. But I think I was pretty good.
Always trying to polish, eh?
Yeah. So the Directorio takes the event.
Oh, okay. Oh, that leaves you with the
with some options.
Op and special. That's great.
Yes. So they're going to take some resources.
What's your strategy off the hop
help me
here?
Out as well. So the strategy overall
that you're going to take,
is kind of interesting because the game plays solo a little bit differently in that you have to play. There's 4 propaganda cards, and you, as the player, you have to survive 3 propaganda cards without any of the bots winning.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can only win on the last propaganda card.
So you have to make it to the 4th.
You have to make it to the 4th, and none of the bots can be above their victory condition. Only you.
That's a narrow margin, eh?
It is, yeah. It's a bit of a tightrope. And so
are there times you actually have to throw it before, like if you're in the second prop card, are you actually like throwing it because you don't want to be in winning position?
A little bit, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you can be across the line for the win.
Okay. I thought you couldn't even be in your winning position.
No, you totally
just don't win.
But you just don't win.
Okay.
So yeah, and a lot of times the bots will treat you as more of a target.
Interesting.
And here's Ambassador Smith. So that's going to be one.
The Syndicate's going to be drooling at that one.
That one, yes. So my goal early on, the biggest challenge July 26th faces is resources. They're never going to be wealthy.
No, they're starved, yeah.
And so you really have to make the most of the actions you have.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best to terror as much as possible.
Now, I see your resources are actually decent right now. 12.
They're decent at the moment.
That's
good.
They
were helped out by that one event.
The DR.
There.
Yeah.
Yep. And so this Syndicate takes the the event which boosts the U.S. alliance.
Oh, okay.
And makes government operations more cheap. So they're gonna sweep.
Oh boy,
see that base
they're gonna start
there.
causing you grief again, eh?
Yeah. And
do you find the bots generally target you as the non-AI?
They're kind of designed to.
Okay.
But if you play as the government or you play as July 26, which is the only version that this has been play tested for,
Yes.
then really that's how it should be. They're in direct opposition.
Right.
So if the government goes after me, then that's fine. The other bots will kind of generally go after you, but the syndicate helps out the government a lot.
Oh, really?
A lot of syndicate cards here. The fat butcher.
Oh, the fat butcher.
Okay,
another one for the syndicate. Jeez.
But for me, I wanted to block the event, so I took
interesting.
op only.
Okay.
And I was pretty much forced to rally because the government swept and then did an airstrike.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so,
and you're starting to get low on just boots on the ground, eh?
Yes. So I needed to. I did a widespread rally, and again, my goal is to get spread out so I can do some terrorizing.
Okay.
It's great to have a base in Sierra Maestra, but the problem is that you can't. You got to get it moved. You got to get out of that zone. You got to move. So
That's right.
It's not easy. So I did a big rally. It was
you actually spent a lot of the bank there. Yeah.
I did, yes, but I had to protect my base and really my goal with the terror action is to get as many territories as possible to active opposition, because if they're active opposition,
it makes it much harder.
The Directorio can't rally there, so it essentially locks the Directorio out of
different
spaces.
bases. Yeah. Okay.
You can see because it's still passive opposition, they are able to rally.
And they're getting right back in there,
spaces.
eh?
Yeah.
Oh.
And they are taking control of population, which is their goal. If you remember, the Directorio needs to take control of populations and of population, and they also need
population plus bases. There it is. Yeah.
And plus bases. Yeah. So he did exactly what I didn't want the Directorio to do, which was to rally in a space and then subvert, which means he gets resources, but it moves the territory to neutral.
Oh,
okay.
So it's actually hurting you that way too. Another syndicate event.
They got a lot in this one early on.
Wow.
So they're gonna take another 10 resources. So now they're above their resource requirement already.
Okay.
And they just need to open some casinos now to.
They needed a lot. How many? They need a bunch of casinos, don't they?
They need 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
7 open. So to me, the syndicate is the one that just flies under the radar most of the game and then surges forward in the last part of the game. So
really? You notice that?
Yeah.
That's their MOA.
Especially as the government generally becomes weaker.
Okay.
They step in. So the government does a train and then transport. And
dropping troops on the ground.
Yep, and sending troops out to Camagüey, and they've reinforced their base in Las Villas. So it's interesting because when I play the government, I don't build a lot of bases typically in the countryside. I might do that in La Habana, but I don't typically do that in the countryside, because to me it's just so remote and it's just so open to attack. But maybe that's because that's playing against human players. So.
Right.
So.
Hey, just a quick question. Did you have the choice of the July 26th, or is that the player option for this one?
It's July 26th or the government.
Okay, I thought the government you could do too. I wasn't 100% sure.
I'll probably do a playthrough again at some point. For that, but
try the government role, because you generally, I know when we've played, you generally side with the government. Just
yes,
you know it pretty well. So
yeah. I do. So.
How did you enjoy doing the July 26th for this one?
Oh, I like playing the July 26th. It's a challenge because there's not a lot of resources to work with, and you really need to be surgical about your choices. But you can see here in Matanzas, that's exactly what I want to do, is get these territories to active opposition, because then again it prevents the Directory, it locks them out.
Yeah, there's Oriente getting locked down now.
Yeah. and it gets me obviously closer to a
Oh,
win. But
Santiago to Cuba. You're putting a push on in there too.
yes, yeah,
Excellent.
and getting up there. But again,
But
it's
your
making
resources are a touch low.
It is a little bit low.
So what's your plan to try and recoup some resources? Just hope for a prop card?
Yeah, that's part of it. But remember that the resources you get as the July 26th are equal to the number of bases that you have in play. And I've only got one base in play. So the prop card won't really be of
So that is
help.
not helpful. Yeah. So what are you just going to have to try and get it through card event?
Yes. So this is...
Well, speaking of card event, here we go.
Yep. So the syndicate chooses op plus special.
Okay.
And so they're going to do some rallying because they've got some unguarded casinos.
Oh,
in,
yes.
Havana and Pinar.
Okay.
Del Rio. And also in La Habana. La Habana is that one space I wish they would do an overflow space for because
it just gets a little full,
so
eh?
crowded.
Yeah.
So they and then they do profit special action, which
get some cash.
Gives them some cash, and the government passes.
Oh, interesting.
Because they didn't have.
Oh,
any
they had no resources.
Yeah. So, and that's what I find is really frustrating as the government a lot of times in this particular game is the government's always so broke, especially as the U.S. alliance gets worse.
Oh, interesting.
So it's just your options become more and more narrow as the game goes on, and a lot of times you just end up hunkering.
Is it just a matter of being really, really stingy with resource management? Yeah,
to some extent. But
so maybe you're just a little too loose with the pocketbook.
Well, yeah, maybe. But you start out the game and every action costs 2 resources, and by the end of the game, every action costs 4. So
okay.
It's just because as the U.S. alliance degrades, so they're going to take the Rolando Masferrer or whatever momentum event. So
okay.
The government gets momentum events, which continue through to the propaganda card.
Yes, that's right.
In this case, the guerrillas get capabilities, which last the rest of the game.
Okay.
So,
all right.
And the directorial is causing me a lot of headaches.
They seem to be a real nuisance.
Yeah. Their terror action actually moves everything towards neutral, which means it's open to rallying.
Right.
And so
since you've been working really hard to get the active opposition, that's really kind of been annoying.
Yeah, it's counterproductive.
A little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can't know for sure what what a given faction is going to do. So
now I just noticed there's 2 DR events in a row here.
Yes.
I guess DR is ineligible, but does the AI ever pass to get the second event?
Not in this version of Coin, but later games actually do allow for
the AI to actually pass to take the second event.
For them, to get an event. So
okay, or like a better event, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
So I'm going to take this event.
Okay.
Which
now is your events decide generally? I guess it's every card's different. I was going to say if it's shaded or un, but it's not necessarily.
Oh, I can choose either one, but typically there's one that's obviously going to help my side.
Yeah.
The non-player factions will sometimes pick an event that actually benefits one of the other non-playing factions. Like the Syndicate takes a lot of events that help the government.
Oh, just cause?
It's just because the Syndicate and the
government are they're in cahoots.
Yeah.
They're in cahoots.
Just like the Directorio and the
July
26th have some enemies in common.
Sure.
Shall we say. So
the
government does a sweep. The Directorio took the event which replaced my guerrillas in the south there. And the government's going to move in and take control of Camagüey and sweep.
Again, though, they're broke, so that's all right.
They are broke again. But they do an airstrike on me, of course. So there's a little bit of time that it takes to get established, I find, in this game as the July 26th. There's
Yep.
a lot of stuff that you
Yep.
set up that ends up getting undone, unfortunately. So
you have to have basically a stiff upper lip. Just keep rolling.
yep, yeah, and just
Yeah.
of course the syndicate's going to take that free casino now. Going to take that event.
That event was not bad for you. A base and a something down.
Yeah, but I won't
get
get a chance
that.
to see it. And that's
You will get up and special here. That's not terrible.
Yeah, I do get up and special. I don't have a lot of resources though, but I can get another base down at any rate.
Oh, that'll help with some money.
It helps with some money, yeah. And get back in there, into the city, and try and reestablish my presence and take away that directorial control, right?
For not having resources, you're dropping like 4 down. That's pretty.
Yeah.
Wow, look at you go.
Yes.
Just as you were saying.
I did get that boost though from that event.
Oh,
though.
that's
that
right.
helped out a little bit. But yeah, it's tough because you want to.
Oh, there's your infiltrate. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm flipping a cube into one of me.
Yeah.
And
take
that gives kind of some control back down in the south. The directorio though is going to be a problem because they want to do terror and move the opposition.
Oh,
towards
and there's a
neutral.
prop card. Alert! Alert!
Card.
Alert!
Yep.
Okay.
So we got this Eloy Guterres Menoyo.
He'll get his is it DR up and
DR is up.
DR and government. Okay.
Yeah. DR is going to take that event. The DR never seems to really struggle with money, or very rarely it seems. They're always able to do more or less what they want to do. So they're going to remove that government base.
Well, finally, they're actually helping you out a little, eh?
And replace it with a couple guerrillas.
Okay, taking some more territory. Las Villas.
Well, that's their goal, right?
Hey, the nice thing about the prop card coming up is that you have a lot of guys going underground.
Yes, and that's my goal generally if I can. Now the government can't do anything because they don't have any money.
Perfecto.
So they get a few resources, and they'll definitely get some resources here at the prop card.
Yeah, who usually benefits most from resources at the prop?
Well, the government definitely can use them. It's the only time that they really get resources for the most part.
During the prop card.
So we'll take a look at the score here. We've got government is actually just 1 away from winning.
Oh, so you just kept him off.
Yep. And the directorio and the syndicate are not really anywhere close.
Okay.
So now what I do is I always move the counter one behind where I'm actually at, so then I can actually read what I need to do.
Yes.
So the government gets 32 resources because their aid is 24, and they get from the various industries around Cuba, they get another 8. So,
wow, that just blasts them up out into outer space. Okay.
Yeah.
So they'll have some money to play with now.
Yeah, I get a couple resources.
Meanwhile, you get 2.
I get 2. Well, that's the plight of the
of the DR, the 26.
July 26. Now the directorial gets 4. They get as many resources as they have spaces with pieces in them.
Okay.
So they are in 4 spaces. They get 4, and the syndicate gets 33 resources.
Oh, also doing pretty good. I realized
I forgot to add the economic center resources in there.
So they get more?
They get, yes.
Oh, they're off the charts?
Max out. Yeah, they're off the charts. And then they get, because the cash is 6 each.
Oh,
and then plus the 3 in the economic center, plus, the open casinos. So
all right, so they have all the resources they need, really.
Now, I also did the skim.
Does that worry you?
Quickly there? No, not at all. I'm actually... It's funny because as the July 26th, I'm actually okay with having a reasonably strong government, as long as they don't get in my way.
Stay in your lane, eh? Stay in your lane.
It's almost like I feel like there has to be some balance. You can't let the if the government is too weak, it lets the other factions run wild, and that can be a problem too. So it's not a bad thing to have the government with a little bit of strength. Now, I wasn't able to agitate here,
right?
Because I didn't have the control anywhere.
Right.
The Directorio does their expat backing, and gains control of Oriente.
So, that's okay. You don't really care about that part as long as they don't flip your passive opposition.
Yeah. Well, that's the tough part though. Is them undoing everything that I'm trying to accomplish. So
Are they your biggest thorn?
Well, yes and no. I mean, the government definitely is the most direct opposition, but it's just because the Directorio and the July 26 are crowded into the same spots. So they just kind of tend to run afoul of each other, but it's a natural kind of friction. It's not something which,
well, the map is so small in this one, right? Like
it is.
It's such a tight area to work in. So
yeah, someone said on Board Game Geek that it's like a knife fight in a phone booth.
yeah, truly, right? Yeah. That's a good way to analyze
I also we've always played that you can actually.
Oh, now this is an interesting one. Now you've got 2 events here that you have to be concerned with, and you have first option.
Yes.
So,
and I just made the call that I'd much rather take this event
than the next one.
Than the next one.
I didn't quite see which either was. So okay.
Yeah, and so so that's I'll take that event, and the Syndicate's up next for their Oppen special. So.
Okay.
But we've always played with the prop card. When the prop card comes up, you don't get to see the next event. That's actually not technically. It's actually a house rule on our part.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because you're supposed to see what the next card is, but I just kind of like leaving it a bit of like fog of war.
Exactly.
So the Syndicate basically drops some guerrillas into the open, unguarded casino spaces and then starts to manufacture some cash.
And you're not worried about them being maxed out with resources?
There's nothing I can do about it aside from try and snag that cash, try and kidnap, use the kidnap special activity there when I can.
Okay.
But there really isn't a lot I can do. So,
no, you're kind of hamstrung.
Now this is going to
come, comrades.
Yeah, this.
Oh, and another event for you. Yes. Look at that.
Yeah, so that's a capability
Raúl.
coming up.
And is that when
they're going to give themselves
considering
some resources here? So that was their event, and it's one that I felt I could live with, as far as that goes.
Okay.
But the Directorio now
they get Oppen special, so here they go. Are they going to be hammering your opposition?
They're actually going to do terror, yes.
Oh,
and
jeez.
It just undoes everything.
Oh, your hard work.
I know. It's really tough because you have to get them out of your.
Although he's helping you there in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. But yeah, you have to kind of get these spaces clear of Directorio and then get them to active opposition, and then they're kind of like those spaces are at least to some extent locked down, and that's a good
assassinate here, eh?
Yeah, and assassinate some police there.
Okay.
So, the Directorio has no love for the government, so we have that in common, but it's not necessarily...
That's about where the love affair ends.
Yes, pretty much. So this was a tough one because I can re-roll each attack or kidnap with that capability, but look what comes up next, the propaganda card. So I decided to go with an Oppen special.
Okay, and forego Raúl. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to do an attack because with an attack... I can potentially get rid of these Directorio, and then my guys are going to flip back underground at the prop card. So
okay.
Now I did an ambush here in La Habana. That's an automatic success because I can steal the cash.
Oh, there you go.
So I got some. So that was mainly why I did the attack. But I figured I may as well strike at some Directorio and maybe get some lucky hits.
Sure.
And clear them out. Unfortunately, I missed on those. So, and the Syndicate takes a limited op, which for the bot is there's no distinction. They always get op plus special. So.
Oh, really? Even if it's just a limb op.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So. Okay.
Yeah. So they're gonna do some more profiting there. Yeah. That's one of the handicaps the bots have because. The thinking is that they're just a flowchart, and so they need some sort of a
need a little bit of a bump, yeah.
Yeah, they need a bit of a bump. So,
how do you find the difficulty
of this of Cuba Libre solo?
Yeah, of the bots and.
Yeah, it's a really good puzzle. I mean,
okay.
I find that the bots generally play pretty well. And let's take a look at the standings. You can see the government's still decent.
Oh, and you guys are like in a deadlock, eh? All four behind your. Okay. Are you happy with that current position?
Yeah, as well as again, it's a matter of making it through to the last propaganda card. That's
Yeah, so
when
you've
all
got
the
2 of
magic
3 down now,
happens.
so we're getting closer.
So the government basically maxes out. They get 27 resources, but because the 2 propaganda cards were so close together.
Yeah, I'm guessing now there may be a bit of a lull here, or a bigger span of cards.
Yes, yeah, and that's the thing, and the government's actions are going to become quite a bit more expensive right now. So
Okay, so
the syndicate gets a bunch of resources.
Oh, they're
here,
both tapped out, eh? Look at
they're both
that.
tapped out. Yeah.
Wow.
And then they do the skim, so they hand the government 2 resources, but the government's already maxed
Can't
out.
even take it. Wow.
So, and that cash is handy. Well, we will take those 6 resources, and yes, we're very grateful for that.
That was pretty, yeah.
But the syndicate gets
pretty
another
key.
18 resources from cash.
That they can't take.
They can't take them. Yeah, they're just...
They're overflowing. Their coffers
Yeah.
are full.
Oh, yes.
How's the DR doing? I didn't check their numbers out.
The DR is doing okay. Well, in terms of resources, they're at 16.
Okay,
so,
that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So the government is now embargoed, which means that there's no airstrikes allowed, and every action now costs 4 resources. So even though they've got a lot, they're
going to be going through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, they're going to be burning through it. Now there's no civic action possible, no agitation possible, just because the places that we control are already at active opposition or active support.
Okay.
The Directorio is going to
expat backing,
do their free rally and gain control of another space. And then the redeploy phase, where the troops have to be sent home.
Sent packing.
But there's nothing.
Well, it looks like they're already in a bait. They're all in there.
Well, the propaganda card happened just a few cards ago, so there wasn't really anything to do.
Okay.
And then everything resets. So I'm reasonably happy with where things are at.
Yeah, you guys seem like it's a very close tie right now.
Yes, it's pretty close, and as long as I'm able to keep the lid on the other factions, again, the syndicate is again pretty weak in the first half of the game and not really a factor, but they become a factor by the end of every game. They're always a faction to watch.
with the resources they have.
With the resources they have, they just need to build some casinos now, right? So
they can start,
yeah, and the government typically becomes weaker as the game goes on, just because everything becomes more expensive for them.
Okay.
So we'll see what's up next. So we have
it's you and the government kicking it off here.
Yeah. So this is police sweep and assault as if troops, and this is a government momentum card.
Okay.
And there's another government momentum card.
See, there's another one of those situations,
yes,
eh? Okay.
Where assault treats mountain as city. But the event is remove all troops from a mountain space. So the government takes that momentum.
That
Maybe
leaves
not a bad choice, actually, given the fact that it's probably going to be a long while to the next propaganda card.
That's true.
So that's
an op and special for you.
Good choice on the part of the flowchart.
Yeah.
Well decided.
Do you find it sometimes it is a bit arbitrary?
No, it's sometimes they do moves that seem counterintuitive that end up actually being fairly smart.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Yeah. So this is I'm getting a base down right next to Havana. I lose control of the space, but I'm not too worried about it. And then I'm going to do some other rallying and take away some Directorio control.
You just don't want them getting too big for their britches?
I do not want them to be too big for their britches, and I also want the ability to attack if I see fit.
Okay.
And I want decent odds.
Right.
On that.
It doesn't again though. It doesn't come cheaply, eh?
No. And so I infiltrate. So you can see I'm very slowly just taking over Santiago de Cuba. There's not much of a government presence.
Nothing to see here, right? Like,
yeah. So, and that's fine. I kind of like the idea of locking down the south and then kind of expanding out.
Slowly move. Okay, that was more or less a plan. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's always going to be subject to events and so forth.
Of course.
That's what the events are there for, to mix it up.
Yeah.
So Morgan is up next, which would allow the guerrillas to march 2 spaces, but the Directorio are going this turn. and they're taking an op and special.
They won't take. They don't take it, eh? Okay.
Well, no, that's the upcoming event. So,
upcoming. I thought it was. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah. No, they would if otherwise, for sure. So they're just gonna get some pieces down, take back that control. So you can see there's a lot of back and forth going on here.
Right.
And again, it's not that we're in direct conflict necessarily, but it's just that we're kind of sharing the same space. And
now you're not. So the July 26th, though, they're not worried about control. They're worried about opposition.
Yes,
and bases.
Yeah. But that matters when it comes to agitation at the prop card. So if you control it, you can agitate. You can spend resources to flip it to your side. So they're going to subvert, but in a neutral space. There's no impact to me anyway, and they get a couple resources. The syndicate is going to take the event and give the momentum capability to the government. Come on. Yeah. They're in cahoots.
Oh boy, that's dirty. That's dirty pool. That would never happen in a 4-player without like resources exchanging hand or something.
I know. But
what do you want? Yes. What do you want? It's the bots.
Now this is interesting because the next one up is the Pact of Karaka. So in this case, we have this is the one which basically prevents the DR from affecting my opposition, and I can't kill any of their pieces. So this was kind of an interesting part in the game. So the government took the event, which basically moved the space to active support. So they're put in the warning signal. The red alert is at winning condition.
Oh boy.
So, but I'm going to pass here because the propaganda card's a while away because we know that.
Yes, it is.
The government is in winning position, but I'm not terrified yet.
Okay.
And
you want first option on the Caracas card.
I do, and I want to get this into place because I saw this as my opportunity to, because if you'll notice, it says that the DR ops and special activities cannot affect placed opposition. That's what I really wanted out of it.
Yep.
And if the DR wants to cancel the event, they have to spend 2 bases to do so, which sets them back.
That's a hefty price. Yeah.
Yes. And so my goal with this was, okay, well, you know what? This allows me to coexist with the DR until I choose to pull the trigger.
Right.
So now I can obviously undo the truce as well, but for me it was about, okay, I can get some opposition and the DR cannot fight me on that, which actually ended up being quite useful.
Okay. So it was a wise move.
It was, yes. And the DR does some terrorism here to reduce the support in Oriente, and does some terror in Las Villas. That's mainly to set up the assassination option special activity.
Okay.
But we took the government back down from the winning position, or I didn't, the DR did.
Thank you, DR.
Which was helpful, yeah.
He's taking no prisoners for either side, eh? He's just
And the DR now has basically full control of Las Villas, unfortunately. So, but the Pact of Caracas card, the executing faction remains eligible, so I'll get a chance to go again here.
Okay, and actually your second option, so you
but actually I'm first because
DR just went,
DR's ineligible, so the DR is going to take this. They're going to place a base and a guerrilla. So
are you taking the
event?
I'm going
to take the op plus special. And
okay.
This is where I sought to take advantage of the new alliance that I have with the Directorio. Do some terror around the board.
Yep. And they're not going to bother with you.
They're not going to be able to affect any of my placed opposition. So that's going to be... So when opposition is down, unless the government or, syndicate removes it, it's going to stay in place. Unless it's by event. Events can still reduce your opposition or change your opposition. But it does take me down again. Down to 2 resources again.
You are just living under 5 resources, my friend.
But now I do a kidnap. And that... Actually, I rolled the dice and I rolled a 5, so I stole 5 resources from the government. Oh,
well done! So you got a nice roll.
Yes, and now I'm inching close, and my goal is to just simmer right below. You see, bases plus opposition. That's 16, because as soon as I go over 16, then the bot will cancel the event. It will spend 2 bases and
Oh,
cancel the
really?
event.
Okay.
So I have to play this interesting kind of game
A
where
little
I'm
cat
trying
and
to
mouse with them,
simmer.
eh? Sit at 15, 14.
Yeah, and just simmer right underneath. Now the syndicate reduces the support or the opposition, in Sierra Maestra with the event, and we know Escapade is going to place a DR guerrilla in base in Camagüey or Oriente.
Okay.
So that's going to happen, and let's see what's up next.
Another DR
defections.
event.
Yes.
Defections, yes.
So.
Okay.
And this is in a space already occupied by your pieces and those of an enemy. Replace 2 of the guerrillas or cubes with your guerrillas or cubes. So that will be an interesting one. But they're going to take this event to get the base down, and they ended up rolling the die and choosing Camagüey. So they are well in control there.
Yeah, that's pretty locked.
Yeah. So it's just I really see here's the government now saying, well, wait a sec, the city's out of control.
we gotta get boots on the ground
back
again.
In there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so that was their.
Funny enough, though, they're not doing. Oh, they're doing some more. Okay, I thought that was the end of their.
And they're transporting to remove the control of the Directorio. So the government's definitely helping me out in that sense and keeping the lid on the Directorio.
Yeah.
But this one here, that gives the opportunity for, the guerrilla faction, or in this case, the syndicate will do a switcheroo. And there's another government momentum. This one is move troops to assault spaces. So before assault, move troops to assault spaces from other spaces. So basically, it's a mobility. They can utilize some mobility there.
Okay. All right. The event for you is not terrible in that one. It was I don't think you're going to get to it.
They replay the syndicate replaces their guerrillas with mine. Or sorry, flip that. My guerrillas with theirs.
Right.
So
yeah, you won't.
So I'm going to do a rally, get a base down. I'm not fighting for controlling Camagüey. I'm just looking to get it, established, get some income. I'm going to rally in La Habana again to protect that base, and I'm going to rally here just to remove the directorial control in Oriente, because I have to be careful. The directorial, once they get their bases down, you can see they're at 6, so they need to get to 9. But once they have 4 bases down,
they don't have a lot of bases, do they?
Well, they can build up to 4.
Yeah.
But once they have 4 bases down, they only need to control 5 population, and they're in winning positions. So
okay,
it's tough to, especially because we have a pact, right? I can't attack them.
Right.
So unless there's an event which allows me to remove stuff,
then you're kind of stuck.
Then I'm kind of stuck. I've got to either break the pact or
another government event.
Momentum.
Look at this.
I promise you, I shuffled the cards.
Holy moly!
Yeah, but this is interesting. So airstrike removes 2 units and allowed even if embargoed, which is the current state of affairs. The government is embargoed right now. So
okay.
So the government actually does a sweep.
Oh boy!
And
coming into La Habana.
La Habana, yeah. And into Camagüey.
Boy, that's a busy province. Wow.
Well, it's interesting too. Look at Camagüey City. There's
like nobody there.
The way the bots work is they just need to have 1 piece greater than the others, and like just enough to maintain control.
So that's all they care about.
But they were allowed to move the police in because of that special that momentum. So this is actually a key campaign for the government bot. They got they had to spend 8 resources on 2 sweeps, but they follow that up with a reprisal, which is government terrorism.
Oh,
and they
knock you
out
down
of town. Yeah, and then the Directorio takes the event and takes the event that isn't the momentum event.
Oh, and they were allowed to march and then do a free ambush.
Yes, but they couldn't attack me because of the pact.
Right.
So
right.
That's where the pact came into play so much in this game. It really was
a crucial
helpful.
get.
Yeah, it was really because I find in the
Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, but
oh boy,
what I find though is so this is blocking Skim or hurting the syndicate. So
Santo Traficante Jr.
Yeah. So, but what I find though is that the Pact of Karaka is much more fragile in a live game. It just seems that it's, it's just much more fragile. So I'm gonna do. I drew 2 guerrillas back.
You've got a lot of bases down.
Yeah, I need them because that's my income.
That's your money. So, yeah.
So I rallied in just the 2. I protected the base up in La Habana. And then I did Oriente as well to knock control out. And then I did infiltrate of the police in that area. And that helped me, it's like a free rally, essentially.
Right.
But the syndicate gives the government this momentum event. So they got a lot of capabilities.
And they have a lot of resources, and they seem like they're getting it served up to them.
Yeah, no, they've the syndicate was definitely a big factor in helping them out here. So this is hurting the syndicate with -10 resources, but I believe in this case this event isn't going to happen. There's another government event which will be
and you're in second position there.
Select a space with troops, a faction, free marches all of its guerrillas out and flips them underground.
Oh, well you get no, they're up first. There it is. Okay, you've already switched them out.
So that's what's coming up next. So the Directorio's getting another base down, and again they lose control by doing it, but they have a base, which is again I can't attack those at the moment. So
so it's also it's kind of interesting because it seems like it's a double limiting kind of thing.
Yeah, it is. It's a double-edged sword. Like it's great. There's actually no special activity that qualified in this case.
Oh wow, so, that's interesting too.
Yeah, there's nothing they could really do that made any impact. So so the government's going to do an Op Plus special again, and they are going to do a training operation to get a base down.
Okay.
And it's so funny because again, as a player, as with the government, I don't put many bases down, but the bases actually were quite effective. I think a base in La Habana is actually can be
pretty
useful.
good call. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's no special action for the government either. There's nothing that they could do that had any impact. So
that's interesting. 2 in a row.
Yeah. So so this will be the event. So free marching and flipping.
There you go. There you get an event.
I saw El Che. So the first group of guerrillas to move each march operations flips underground. That's really valuable.
Yes, so you can stay tucked in.
So I had to pass here. Not only that, I didn't have a lot of resources. So
do you gain 1 resource for that, right?
I do. Yes.
Okay.
And I believe I can't remember if I showed it here, but I believe you
did take that one.
I added it. Yes.
Okay.
So, but he took the event and removed my base. And
that little what
it's okay. It's all right.
This is where El Che comes into play.
Yes. So this was an event that I thought, okay, that is valuable, because we're around halfway through the game.
And another event. Oh boy! Operation
and this is
Fisherman.
the opportunity to place a July 26 base in guerrilla in Pinar, which is the farthest, I guess, west.
Oh, does that gives you a bit of a
thought
dilemma
about it? But I'm like, yeah, you know what? This capability is just too valuable. That first march, just to be able to go underground, set up that terror opportunity.
Yes,
was just too valuable, especially in Havana.
And that's for the game, correct? That's not just for the end of the prop card. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the government did some training in Santiago de Cuba and took control of the space and got yet another base down in Camagüey.
Another one. Wow. Look at that.
They only have 2 bases to place, but they got one in Camagüey and one in La Habana.
And look at that, already down to 20 resources.
Already down to 20. Yeah.
They're just burning through it.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
And so they did a transport operation.
Interesting. Okay.
So,
Do you find there's one AI that sort of stands out as being a little more like a little more not intuitive, like just clever?
Well, I find they all play reasonably well according to their play styles. Now, this is an interesting one.
Oh, Vilma.
So Sierra, yes, that sets Sierra Maestro an adjacent place to active opposition. I don't want that event to happen though, because they can remove all my guerrillas from a city.
Oh.
So I'm gonna want to help
But
out with that.
you
Now,
will-
the Directorio did some helping me out here with some attacks, and they got the hit in Camagüey. They missed in Santiago de Cuba, and they did an ambush in Pinar.
Oh.
So
Wow.
Because they're going for control of populations, so
Right.
they're getting mighty close to the end point. Now, that score might not actually be accurate, the one that you just saw.
Okay.
I was reasonably conscientious about updating the score, but what really mattered was the at the prop card, right? So
Yes.
I did keep track, but
Okay.
I may not have been totally conscientious about it. So
Right,
this
right.
time I couldn't really benefit from the event, but I couldn't let that happen.
So you're
'Cause
taking
that would wipe me out in Santiago de Cuba, so I had to.
Did you do a lim op?
Yeah, I could do just a regular op.
A regular.
So
Okay.
yeah. Now this one is the craziest event. 2 guerrillas, Havana to neutral.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
The next event's a real wild card for the game. I find it's a very powerful event that really sets the government back.
Yes.
Depending on when it comes out. But anyway, I was gonna just build another base here again, just to secure my income.
Your income of one?
Yes. Well, my future income.
Oh, there it
And
is.
give
Okay.
myself there
Hopefully
wasn't much I
soon.
could do.
Yeah.
I had to take an op to block that event, so I had to do something.
Were you pretty
I didn't wanna
confident
be wiped
the
out.
AIs would have taken the event too?
Yes, that's if they get the opportunity, they generally take the event. So
Okay.
so that would have been bad.
Okay.
So the government does an assault on the Directorio and actually wipes them out of Camagüey. This was a big deal because they had they were taking out myself as well, but they helped me by taking out
all the DR there.
all the DR there. So
Yeah, 3 for
that
1.
was awesome.
That's a good trade-off.
Yes, but then they did a reprisal in La Habana,
La Habana, yeah.
and that essentially kicked me out. So
Yeah.
meant I've got to replace that guerrilla to save that base.
Now I'm
from
wondering.
being wiped out.
I'm feeling like the prop card may be starting to come up shortly, but
Yeah, it's not too far away, but we've still got a little ways to go. So
Yeah.
this is the
Sierra Maestro manifesto.
yes, this is basically where all the factions get a chance to place units. So
Oh,
but
interesting.
Directorio took this event and placed 2 guerrillas anywhere. And went
Okay.
there and there. Havana goes to neutral,
Oh, they did take that one.
and the DR remains
Active.
eligible for the next turn.
Yes.
So, but the syndicate just rallies to defend their casinos.
The syndicate have been pretty quiet this prop run. I haven't
They
seen
have,
a lot
yeah.
from them. Yeah.
Yeah, well, a lot of times they're rallying and trying to get their casinos protected, and they don't have and just profiting and
Okay.
making money.
Just making a lot of cash. Don't
Making
worry
a
about
lot
us.
of
Nothing to see
Well,
here.
Yeah, the cash in the last propaganda round is exchanged for casinos, so that's why they want to make sure they got all the resources. But
Right.
anyway, yeah. So this sets up so the Directorio remains eligible, and so this was kind of an interesting choice here. I had the choice
Okay.
of this one, where each faction places pieces in a space where they already have a piece,
Yes.
and they can be bases too. So it was kind of
Oh.
an interesting thing. And then the Mafia Offensive came up next. So Syndicate may assassinate as if the DR, but regardless of police. So it gives
Now they're going to be
uh,
taking that no matter what. I'm assuming you
yes,
can't stop that
that's-
event from getting taken.
No. So I placed 2 pieces there.
You did take the event, eh? Okay.
Yeah, I took the event because I stay eligible. Now it's a bit of a wild card because they get to place. The Directorio gets to place.
La Habana you went into. Okay.
Yeah, I went into La Habana to protect my base basically because I only have 1 resource. So
yes.
So
you had to maximize card event to try and get card or boots on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah. Now the Directorio didn't. The Syndicate. I think I can't remember where they placed. I may have made a mistake there where I didn't place for the Syndicate, but they may not have had any. I don't think they had any.
Things to place. Okay.
Yeah, they didn't have any guerrillas. You can see.
They're all out. Yeah.
So the Directorio does not take any special activity with that.
Okay.
And so now I remain eligible. So that
and that will play because I think you were in second position.
I am in second position.
Yeah, so that's all right.
So we already know what the Syndicate's going to do. They're going to take their hitmen capability.
So that'll give you op and special. But now
that's the thing. Yeah. So I can free rally in each space. I have a base as if spaces were neutral.
And this is for the game, or just now?
No, this is just now. So. I've got 1 resource.
Oh, very worthwhile.
Yes, it could be, except I don't have a lot of. I think I've got all my bases down, and so there really wasn't a lot of need. I couldn't use the event, so I had to pass and get another resource here.
Okay.
Now the government takes their op plus special.
Okay, and they've been slowly working themselves down. So that's the good news.
With all those capabilities, they're able to do some stuff. So
yeah,
they're sweeping my units here. They really love to sweep
it up
in my territory. Actually, this campaign they were very disruptive. They're not normally this bad, but they had all those capabilities, which really.
But are they down to 4 resources now?
They're down to 4 resources.
Holy jumping! Okay.
And they get to airstrike because of that special ability.
That's right.
That momentum cards. They took out a base of mine. And so it was rough.
Now, does that change your perspective on the next card here? Because now you have a base that you need to put in.
Well, let's see what the upcoming card is all about. Now, this would rally in any space where I have a base for free, which is always good.
But a prop card. Okay.
Prop card. So now I have to look at, what's going to work best. I ended up choosing the event and looking to protect my base.
Yeah.
Here.
Okay.
There really wasn't much more I could do, but I wanted to take away the government control as well so that they couldn't do any civic action.
At the
propaganda card.
Make things worse. Yeah.
So that was Directorio does a march to gain control of a couple spots, and they also move into Matanzas just to get in my hair. But again, the Pact really has come in very handy overall. Because they can't even subvert in a territory where I have opposition because it can't affect my placed opposition. So,
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think the game changes a lot depending on when the Pact of Caracas comes out.
Would you say it's one of one of those game-changing kind of cards?
Yeah, in some ways.
Okay.
I think it really changes the dynamic. So
right.
So we're gonna walk through the victory phase here.
Yes,
we'll
let's see. What is this current score at here?
So the Directorio was right at 0. They were.
But that does not consider winning position, though.
They have to be above that. So they were 1 away from winning.
Wow. Okay, so they were literally
on
the precipice.
And the Syndicate was next, and then I've fallen down a ways. Government gets 17 resources, which doesn't go as far.
No. Not when things that cost 4.
Yeah.
Your paltry 3, though, is not great.
Yeah. Directorio always get decent money, and the Syndicate gets.
They
9.
They only managed to spend 4 resources that whole prop card.
Yeah. Well, they don't really have a lot of things to spend them on. Now the government managed to get some skimming, so they got the resources up to 25. But look at the cash, another 12 resources for the Syndicate that they can't use.
Jeez, Yeah. Wow.
And so this is propaganda card 3. We move into the final phase. So this is where I've been simmering the whole game. Now the aid is dropped to 0. The U.S. alliance is at embargoed, which means everything's so expensive. But they blow the bank on some civic action to get Havana back because they have control of Havana. So
okay.
That was maybe a missed opportunity in that I could have gotten in there. But
yeah. Did you consider it?
Yeah, I did. But
okay, it just never really came.
They also flipped Santiago to Cuba down as well. So, but they're down to 9 now. So they've blown a lot of resources on.
Okay, they get their expat.
Action.
Yeah,
expat backing.
Gonna drop one in there. Okay.
And now the redeploy. So that sweep. They got the police in there. But I can maybe infiltrate those guys out.
Okay.
And the deployment ends up splitting between Havana and Santiago de Cuba.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And then
is that all just flowchart?
Yeah, by the flowcharts.
Okay.
Generally speaking, it's kind of like an evening out of things. Like everything kind of evens out at the prop card. So
okay,
we'll get rid of all the terror markers. So now my job right now is to basically get as much terrorism done as possible.
Right.
And put myself into winning position.
But you don't have a lot of resources to spend though. That's the problem.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot. And this is the quandary that I found myself in right at this moment. So all those momentum capabilities go away. I've got 5 resources to work with here to try and
did you feel was there a bit of pressure, a bit of tension on this?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I always see the solo game of Coin as being kind of a moving puzzle. And that's how I felt here. Time is kind of on my side. If I can possibly get as much terror going as I'm hoping to, and I don't know, maybe get a favorable event in there at some point, then I should be able to pull this off.
Right, exactly.
But it really depends.
And there's also the variable of when the prop card is actually going to show up. You just have no clue. So
you have no clue.
You've got to be really
exactly. And this is just it. So I did count the cards to see. And the cards
is that allowed?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
It wasn't my game. So. House rule.
Yeah. But I
was just curious. I had no clue if that was actually.
I had 3 cards. I think there was 15 or 16 cards. So I knew that there would be 13 cards in the final stretch there.
Okay.
Where there would be I knew I had at least 3 cards before the prop card could arrive. So
okay, so you had a minimum of 3 guaranteed.
Yes. So,
all right.
But I only had 5 resources to work with. So,
yeah.
And this is where the syndicate now begins to construct.
Oh boy.
They're starting to build the casinos and get them into place.
Yeah.
And this is why they're so tough at this stage because.
Wow, and there they just spent more than they did the whole last prop round.
Yes, well, the casinos are expensive, but they're permanent. So,
Nato, quick question about end of game. If you are in winning position more so than any other of the AIs, do you still win? But if one of them, like say one of them,
I have to prevent all the AIs from winning.
Being in winning position.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And I have to win.
And you have to win. Wow.
Yeah. So it's tough.
Wow.
This is, Wow. There's a lot you have to get done.
Okay. Oh, and the general strike is upon us.
Yes. So
this is a government event. Okay. Oh, and it shifts each city one towards.
Yes.
Oh boy.
So this one I felt okay. I have to take the resources. It's 5 resources.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Give yourself some flexibility.
Yes, exactly.
So, you definitely was a good call. I think to get yourself.
Yes.
At least there's 2 more coming, so you're okay.
Yes. So this is and so they do some some maneuvering there, some subversion, and.
Okay, so now we're getting down to after this next one, any time could be it, right?
Yes, basically.
Okay.
So the general strike. So this, is
and it's
not
not
a
yet.
great event.
Whew, all right.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah, so this one is place a July 26 base where there's a July 26 piece. I do have a base available, so
Yeah.
that could be useful.
But having the op and special might also be worthwhile.
And
now that you have
that's
10.
the challenge. So I do have the resources now, but they took the event and they put Santiago de Cuba at active support. So they're in good shape that way.
Oh, boy.
And the syndicate, once again, they're going to march. And what they do towards the end of the game is they march into cities where there's unopened casinos with cash. And then that means that they can open that casino. With the cash at the final propaganda card. So, or at a casino, they can just buy an open casino with that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So.
Well, here's your big moment, eh? What do you?
Yes.
What were you thinking? What were you leaning toward?
So that's place one, place anywhere, and add lesser of +6 or whatever. So I needed to block this event.
Oh, okay.
So, I needed to, I felt I should rally and get another base down.
Okay.
And I'm basically what I did is I rallied there you know what, I just realized I wasn't able to rally there because that's at active support. So, that was my mistake.
Yeah,
it doesn't end up affecting anything, though. Don't worry.
Okay.
So,
yeah, good catch. Good catch. Post game.
Yes, I caught it post game. But I needed to rally. I needed to protect my base. I needed to set up the terrorism that I wanted to unleash. So I wanted to be in a bunch of different spots.
Oh, I gotcha.
And
yes.
And now I lowered my resources to 4, which might have been a
bit
of an overbuy.
Yeah.
I probably should have just made sure that I had enough to do the terrorism in the 5 spaces I wanted to hit. But the Directorio did an attack to steal the cash from
interesting.
From the syndicate.
Feels late in the game for doing that to me, but
yes. And I forgot to add a guerrilla here because it was an ambush, and I didn't add a Directorio guerrilla.
Okay.
I did catch it, but. You'll notice there's another extra guerrilla there later.
Right. It seems late to be stealing cash for the DR though.
Yeah, but
they don't. That's not any of their win conditions and.
Yeah, but I mean they don't look at that. Like the flowchart doesn't know where you are in the game, so
that's a good point.
It's acting
just
but
accordingly.
Cash is never a bad thing. Number one, it prevents the syndicate from winning.
Right.
But also helps the Directorio.
Okay.
So BRAC is up next, and that's a government event.
And then we have
Turismo.
Oh, not yet. Oh boy.
Not the most flattering of photos.
Turismo.
Yes. So the government was broke and passed.
Oh boy, he's actually down to 0 or 1.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And this actually ended up being a big factor because the syndicate did just a rally, just to protect their casino and to flip their exposed guerrilla underground.
Okay,
again,
nothing too exciting.
Nothing too exciting. And now because they had already built, they'd already done their other special activities, they ended up bribing a base of mine away.
Oh.
So they did a bribe special activity, which doesn't happen that often in this game against the bots, but
it did there.
Got rid of my base. And so I was down, and then Turismo is next up.
The ugly American.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say.
And unfortunately,
oh no, there's the prop card. Oh.
And there was a bunch of cards left over, but because the government passed,
they get
the
first
government
option.
Basically took my place. I would have had one last go. But because the government passed,
you're last to act. Oh no!
I'm last to act.
No! So you didn't.
So
you were on the sidelines.
The Directorio, I was sidelined, and I had my plan ready to go. I was one turn away from
literally just one. No.
And my goal was because this would have set back the Directorio at a crucial point in the game when it's late game.
Yes.
And they would have had to lose 2 bases in order to break the pact. So it would have worked out really, really well.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I'm caught totally
unawares,
unable to do anything.
Well, it was actually just by bad. It was kind of fluky, but
it was, yes. And there was a lot of cards left. It could have been anywhere. So
okay,
now
victory. Here we go.
None of the bots won.
Oh, interesting. So you did.
We keep going until the end of the support phase. So
okay,
the government gets 8 resources.
They
have no aid, so that's all they get.
Yep.
I got 3 for my 3 bases.
Oh boy.
Directorio got 6 because they're everywhere. And
yep.
And
they're maxed out again.
Yes.
Oh.
And then there was the skim, where the government skimmed 4 resources from the syndicate.
Okay, well that's not neither here nor there.
Yep, and
taking some casinos or cashing in.
Yep. They're opening casinos now. Where they in the space where they don't have 2 casinos already, they can trade it in for a casino.
Oh, okay.
And that actually worked out well because the Directorio took that cash away, which would have opened that casino up.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
now, did that put the syndicate in a winning position?
Not quite. They came pretty close.
Oh, okay.
And the government does a bunch of civic action because they control La Habana. I'd lost control of that area, so they spent a bunch on flipping it to active support, and they got over the line.
Oh, the government did it.
And I could only agitate in Sierra Maestra for a single boost.
Oh, but not enough.
Directorio couldn't rally because they had all their pieces down. So they were all set. And final score, government wins. 1 over the line. The syndicate was just below. And the Directorio was just below, and I was well below. I ended up finishing in last place.
Oh, boy. Oh,
so
boy.
It was fairly brutal.
Yes, a little bit embarrassing, but...
Yes, it was. It was. But it was a fun game, and I think, even though it...
You were a victim of circumstance, to be honest, at the end there.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could really
I felt like
up.
I had the plan. If I'd had 1 or 2 more cards, I could have, done some terrorism there, and would have flipped would have flipped things because I could have done a terror in Oriente, 1 in Las Villas, and in a couple of other places. That would have given me 6 more support, or 6 more, and then I could have potentially I don't know. There was just, I needed more time. I think maybe the government passing on that turn really did cause a lot of
unexpected kind of turmoil there.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate. But as I watch the game again, I also see, you know what, maybe I wasn't as close to a win as I might have thought, because
if you look at the final scoring there, you were like, it would have taken a Herculean effort to get up there.
Yeah, I would have needed much more time. And to be fair, the government did seize back Santiago de Cuba. They did seize back La Habana, which was very much under my control. So,
now, I do have one gripe with this game, and I mean it's just the flowcharts. But really, come on now. I mean, the government got a lot of handouts. This game.
Well, yes.
And I know it's the flowchart and it's AI, but the government kind of did reap a lot of benefit.
Yes. Well, if you're the government player, though, the July 26th and Directorio will help each other out a little bit as well.
Okay.
So, but not always, right? Like they kind of, but it's kind of meant to
pick and choose, do they?
Yeah, but it's also to reflect the kind of loose alliances. Like the government and the syndicate had a kind of a common had common enemies, just like the Directorio and the July 26th faction do.
Okay.
So it's something where I think it's kind of to represent the play balance.
Sure.
A little bit.
And maybe even the the political social kind of dynamics that was happening in Cuba.
Yeah. Yeah, because the syndicate actually wants a relatively strong government because the government
it owns them.
And the government wants to keep the casinos open so that they can skim
money
resources. And,
sure.
all that stuff. So there's a little bit of synergy there.
Yep.
But anyway, we hope you enjoyed this game. This was, a coin game in about an hour.
Yes, which is, that was record time, NATO. Record time.
Yes. So anyway, and thanks for joining me, Cax, in this.
It was a ton of fun. I look forward to the next one.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Please take a moment to like and subscribe if you can. And we'll see you here next time on Legendary Tactics.